Thank you for joining us for this Field Notes Q&A episode. We thought we'd share a bit more about Morrison Creek and our process of using trail cameras to capture footage of animals.
We're at the location in Morrison Creek where we've had cameras set up for several years now, and it's been a really productive little corridor here. It's an old skid road, and wow, has it ever caught some great footage over the years. The reason these cameras were first put here was to try and capture at least bears marking the trees. When you walk up this skid road, it's an old logging road, you'll notice that a lot of these alders that are crisscrossing over the trail have lots of marks on them, and if you look closely enough you'll notice that these marks are made by bears chewing and scratching. And this tree here is a particularly good one. It's got lots of dark, you can see the trunk here is all worn, and there's a dark patina where the bears have rubbed around. Up here you've got the big chunks of bark that have been taken out of the tree. This usually happens in late May, June, when the big boars, the big male bears, are getting into their breeding season, and they just take big chunks out of the trees. But that's really what we wanted to capture, was how many bears were coming through, and just capturing the bears actually marking the trees.
Hi, I'm Bennett Whitnall. I'm one of the videographers on the Field Notes series. I'm back in Morrison Creek. I'm here to meet with Jim Palmer and Jan Gemmell, who are Vice President and President of the Morrison Creek Stream Keepers. They know so much more about this place and how special it is. So let's go meet with them, and I'll take you along.
The Morrison Creek Watershed is quite a very complex area of spring-fed tributaries and wetlands that they keep the whole stream flowing all year round, which many otherwise good salmon streams on East Coast Vancouver Island do not. They dry up in the summer. So we have, thanks to the glaciation that happened here, we have a 30-meter high escarpment surrounding the headwaters, and at the base of the escarpment, like a whole continuous series of seeps and springs come out of it, feeding all the tributaries. And then the beavers come in and store lots of extra water for us, and we end up with fantastic fish habitat in here, and all sorts of other animals like to live in here as well.
Here we are at the first day of September. We've had a long dry spell, hot dry spell, but the water here, you can hear it in the background, it's gurgling away. There's lots of nice cool water. That's very important for, well, trout, because they live here all year long, but also for coho, because they spend a whole other year rearing in the little streams and tributaries and in the mainstream of Morrison Creek. So that year-round flow of water, very important, and very important to conserve the area and keep all those riparian areas intact.
I like to point out that fish enjoy water. Something that we really got from even the early part of our adventures with trail cameras was the interactions between the animals, both between species, in terms of, we found a nice something that looked like a rub tree that bears would use, and then we noticed that like all the animals that come by, they all check out the rub tree, and they leave their own signs there as well. And so we started learning to appreciate the whole mammalian community as a community of interacting species and individuals.
I think one of the little surprises was we had some video of an animal that I at first assumed was mink, and we certainly did get some footage of mink, But we also got footage of marten, and I hadn't realized that there would be marten in here, so that was kind of fun.
Hey, I am back and we are at my tree with a trail camera on it. I'm going to be showing you how we set up a trail camera for our series. And you can do this too with the trail camera you might own or might be inspired to get. The first step in your trail camera deployment is choosing a location. I'm currently sitting next to a tree, a solid tree that won't get blown over. On the side of a pathway. This pathway should have some animals using it as a bit of a highway, an easier way of getting through the forest. Second, we must attach our trail camera to the tree. So I have strapped this one around the tree, and I'm going to bring it up to eye level of my target animals. And if I am on all fours, likely other animals will be at this height as well. So now I'm pointing in my direction. And next is testing. So now I'm going to go walk in front of my trail camera and make sure I get the shot that I want. So that looks good. Our framing is exactly how I want it. And all we have to do is turn it to the on setting, make sure we have enough batteries and card space for the next couple of weeks. Something you may want to consider is a metal security box for your camera. This allows you to lock your camera, so it keeps it safe from people taking it or tampering with it. And more importantly, it protects it from curious bears who like to taste just anything in their environment that might be a little different. So there we go. Our trail camera is set up. We hope you enjoyed spending time with the animals of Morrison Creek. Thank you so much for watching Season 1 of Field Notes. Check out the trailer for our upcoming series, Bare Earth.
Our planet is dynamic, from the skies above to the earth below. And to solve some of the biggest mysteries on this earth, we need to take a big picture view at what's happening all around us. Join us as we fly in the sky with researchers thousands of feet in the air, using groundbreaking technology to gather mountains of data that will help us map out our changing planet. From tracking receding glaciers that make up our frozen water reservoir, to discovering evidence of life from thousands of years ago hidden deep within the caves of British Columbia, we set out to see what the bare earth landscapes of our coast will reveal. If a picture is worth 1,000 words, we invite you to find out what we can learn from a really, really big picture in our newest series, Bare Earth.